I want to quickly talk to you about flatbed trucking. I want to explain to you what flatbed trucking really is, how does the whole thing work, what are the rates, and more about this wonderful transportation process. So what are the commonalities here? So flatbed trucking is really a necessity for the movement, let's say, of goods and materials, and continues to be widely used due to its versatility and also adaptability. So for the economy to actually be smooth, flatbeds are really critical. Okay, flatbeds transport oversized, irregularly shipped, and bulky cargo that traditional enclosed trailers cannot accommodate, and they really make up a significant portion of commercial trucking in this country or even in the whole world. So that's really important. I want to contextualize the importance of flatbed trucking. Okay, so flatbed trucks play a crucial role across various businesses and industries, which translates to a high demand for flatbed truck drivers. So if you are considering let's say a career in trucking, you might be wondering if flatbed trucking is the right fit for you. And if it is, where can you find flatbed trucking jobs? Okay, let's first talk about flatbed trucking. So flatbed trucking really involves using a truck that has no walls or roofs. That's really what I want you to picture. I want you to really think about a truck that has no walls or roofs, leaving the trailers open, unlike a traditional box trailer. So flatbed trailers consist of a wooden platform supported by a strong aluminum frame, and while the decks are really flat, some flatbed trailers also carry drop decks. Okay, so flatbed trailers are about 48 to 53 feet long, with a width of 1 to 2 inches, a deck height of 60 inches, and a weight capacity of up to 48,000 pounds. They can also include step deck or removable gooseneck trailer types. So, and because they are open, flatbed trailers offer a lot of logistics options, especially when it comes to a heavy or oversized cargo. And one thing for sure, if you want to go above the 48 pounds that I just gave you, the 48,000 pounds, you need to have a validation from the authorities, either at the state level but also at the federal level, where you need to have some kind of FMCSA approval. I want to talk to you now about common uses of flatbed trucking. So if you're interested in flatbed trucking as a driver, as a potential driver, or as a potential entrepreneur, as an owner operator, it's important to understand that flatbed trucking, as I said a little earlier, is actually specified to certain processes, especially when it comes to, let's say, hauling some loads. Okay, flatbed trucks are known for their versatility. Because of how they are structured, flatbed truck trailers can transport taller and heavier items. And specifically, flatbeds are ideal for oversized cargo and freight that enclosed, let's say, vans cannot easily carry. And you often see flatbed trucks hauling long pipes and highway barriers. And additional cargo that flatbed trucks can haul includes, you have lumber, you have steel coils, you have mobile homes, you have belt tires, wind turbines. I mean, wind turbines have been pretty prominent in the last few years, especially during COVID. During COVID, all the flatbeds were transporting a lot of wind turbines, especially on the East Coast, and so from New York all the way to Georgia and even Florida. You also have military machinery. So military machinery, the transportation of that machinery is actually the purview of flatbed trucking. You also have scrap metal, and you have tow trucks. So this is also an area where flatbeds are really pretty prominent. So you can see that I'm going to put this on the screen. I'm going to put all the additional cargo that the flatbed trucks can haul, so you can really have a clear idea. We are speaking here about let's say cargo that's not real, that's oversized, and cargo that's actually unspecific or unspecified. So flatbed cargo is also highly useful for moving shipping freight containers. The trucks carry the containers from inland ports or factories to seaports, where they are loaded onto ships. And flatbed trailers can haul super sacks too. So this is an area where they are pretty relevant, especially in this economy. So this industrial fabric bags can hold up to 2,000 pounds of dry products such as sand, fertilizer, or seeds. So let me talk to you about key facts here. So what are the key facets of flatbed trucking this year? You have basically five areas where flatbed trucking is really prominent. Okay, so you have loading, securing, tarping, maneuvering, and flatbed trucking rates. Okay, so let me first talk about loading. Although flatbeds are versatile, drivers need to understand a couple of factors to ensure a successful and safe trip. Okay, so let me first talk about loading. So most of the time, forklifts or cranes load heavy freight onto flatbeds. You can't do it with like a regular equipment. You gotta have forklifts or cranes. So, but it is actually the driver's responsibility to make sure the load is balanced correctly over the axles. So that's one of those things where you do not want to have some kind of imbalance because you are going to create accidents crazy. Okay, so unbalanced cargo can cause serious handling problems and potentially accidents and injuries or even fatalities. By the way, so this is really this is important. But remember, it is your responsibility as the driver. So that's for loading. What about securing? Securing is also really critical when it comes to flatbed trucking. So flatbed truck drivers are responsible for keeping the loads steady and secure throughout the trip. And the U.S. Department of Transportation has strict rules about securement devices. So if you want to engage in flatbed trucking, you gotta really know all the FMCSA/DOT rules. Okay, that's really important. So usually, drivers secure cargo using web bed, nylon straps tightened by a winch. If you are transporting heavier cargo, such as steel pipes or large machinery, use thick steel chains to keep the cargo stable. You also have tarping. So because flatbed trailers don't have walls or a roof, they and the cargo they carry are exposed to the elements. So tarping protects your goods during transport, but there is more to this than simply throwing a covering over the cargo. So tarps can weigh up to 80 pounds. 80 pounds, think about it, 80 pounds. Okay, we're not speaking about something very light here, okay? So 80 pounds, so you may need a forklift to put them in place. So this is something important. You also have maneuvering. So an important aspect of flatbed trucking is maneuvering. So given what they carry and their lengths and also their weight, flatbed trucks can be trickier to drive than dry vans or cargo vans or other types of vehicle, right? So you need skills. If you are a driver, you need skills to maneuver an extra wide or extra long truck through traffic or inclement weather. So sharp curves can also cause cargo to shift, creating an unbalanced load that actually makes the maneuvering even harder. So it's one of those things where you got to have experience. You know, it really just takes experience and practice. So one thing I want to say here, when it comes to maneuvering, you have to really understand that it takes a lot of years of practice to actually make sure that you are transporting, you are hauling the load in the right manner. So those are the four aspects. The four factors you need to really pay attention to if you want to ensure a successful and safe trip: loading, securing, tarping, and maneuvering. I want to really talk to you about another aspect that's not really a factor, but it's also important. Those are flatbed trucking rates. Because as you can see, the transport requires specific skills. So you got to be compensated. If you're a driver, you got to be compensated for your efforts, okay? So what are the flatbed trucking rates? How much are typical flatbed trucking rates? So depending on the region, depending on the type of freight and market conditions, rates can range between $227 to $266 per mile. During COVID, they were even higher. They went all the way to $3 per mile because there was let's say a deficit of drivers on the road. So higher per mile rates mean higher salaries. So as a flatbed truck driver, you can earn up to $15,000 more per year than a dry van driver. Okay, but again, everything depends on the geography where you are at. If you are in a large metropolitan area, chances are you'll be making a lot more than if you were driving, if you were doing a cross-state sort of driving in a less populated or less in demand state. So your geography plays an important role. I want to talk to you about the pros and cons here. Let's talk about the advantages of flatbed trucking, and then I'll review with you the disadvantages. So let's first talk about the advantages. So you have greater demand, more travel potential, less waiting time, and easier maintenance. Let's talk a little bit about that. So when I speak about greater demand, the trucking industry continues to suffer from a shortage of drivers. That's what I said a little earlier, and it was really exasperated during COVID. Okay, so when it comes to a shortage of drivers, you have seen this phenomenon, especially in flatbed trucking. Because of that shortage, flatbed truck drivers have a high degree of job security. Okay, you can make a lot of cash too, not just job security, but also profitability from the job. And you also have more travel potential. So flatbed truck drivers may have more opportunities for long distance travel based on flatbed trucker shortages and the fact that shippers may be moving large cargo between seaports and inland destinations. So the thing is that given the nature of the job itself, given the nature of the transportation process itself, you're not really driving over short distances. Okay, they're not like those shippers are not moving cargo over shorter distances. You also have a less waiting time. So forklifts and forklifts or cranes for that matter are usually required for loading or unloading a flatbed. So that makes the flatbed shipping process much faster than the manual cargo moving process most dry van drivers experience. Okay, and flatbed truck drivers spend less time waiting at pickup or drop-off locations, and they usually make fewer stops per load. This means what? It means that a flatbed truck driver may have more time off between loads, and that's kind of cool. And if you're thinking about having a work-life balance, this is really fantastic. You also have easier maintenance, so that's actually another positive that you need to really think about when you think about flatbed trucking. So dry vans or walled-in truck beds accumulate plenty of dirt and debris that can be tough to remove, but the open deck of a flatbed truck makes upkeep much easier, and there are no roofs or sidewalls that can be scratched or dented. So that really is very advantageous. Let me talk to you about the disadvantages now. So basically, you have the advantages, and but like everything in life, you have the pros and you have cons, right? So what are the cons here? When you think about the flatbed trucking, you do have an element of danger. So basically, this is more dangerous. You have stricter regulations. You have higher skill requirements. So your acumen as a driver actually goes up. And also you have risk of weather-related delays. If you have inclement weather, you are really stuck big time. So when I speak about more danger, what am I speaking about here? So basically, flatbed truck drivers carry larger, heavier freight, which must be properly secured per DOT guidelines. So the process of securing cargo on a flatbed truck, sometimes climbing over and around it while on a higher shoulder, raises the risk of on-the-job injury. So that's why OSHA is really strict when it comes to safety regulations for drivers. Okay, it's one of those things where I'm speaking to you now. If you are thinking about being an owner operator and you are going to a flatbed, you gotta really follow safety regulations that OSHA, among other agencies, has actually published. You also have stricter regulations. So basically, because of the inherent risks that you can imagine in flatbed trucking, the DOT and other agencies enforce stringent laws and regulations for flatbed trucking. So a flatbed truck driver may also need special permits for transporting large loads and have to follow specific routes that can accommodate the additional weight of a load. Failure to follow regulations, secure the right permit, or follow designated routes can actually result in fines and other penalties. So it's one of those things where you have to be as diligent as possible. You also have higher skill requirements. So driving a flatbed truck sometimes requires specialized driving and hauling skills, as well as load securement training. So in addition to being able to operate your flatbed truck, you also need to be able to meet the physical demands of maneuvering and securing oversized loads. You also have a risk of weather-related delays. So with cargo partially or fully exposed to the elements, weather-related delays are sometimes inevitable in flatbed trucking. This means what? It means drivers may be on the road longer than planned or miss their scheduled delivery time. Let me talk to you now about software use. So if you're thinking about flatbed trucking, there is an element of software to really think about. Okay, you can do a lot of things manually. That's for sure. But if you want to streamline your operations, if you want to optimize your operations, if you want to also if you want to insert an element of efficiency or profitability into your flatbed truck, let's say activities, think about software. Okay, with software you can find, compare, and book high-paying flatbed loads this year, and so that's really good. So you can find high-quality loads for flatbed trailers on any sort of decent load board. So this is kind of cool because you are able to actually search for loads and book freight really fast. You can save time and you can earn more money. So you have load boards such as that or Truck Stop. Those can really help you a lot. Okay, and with a load board, you can search, you can compare, you can analyze rates, and you can book instantly. So you are able to perform unlimited searches to find the right job from companies in need of a flatbed truck. You can use the load board to plan advanced trips, find higher value loads, and do multi-trip searches. You can also compare. So basically, you are able to compare multiple loads all on one screen. So you can zero in on the best for you. Okay, you can zero in fast to find the flatbed trucking job that's actually right for you. You also have the possibility to analyze rates. So you are able to have a same day rate data and industry leading metrics. So you are able to find the best equipment rates, calculate fuel surcharges, and see supply and demand at origin and also destination locations. And you also are able to book instantly. So once you have found your ideal load, rate, and lanes, you are able to book instantly with trusted brokers, and saving precious time booking and scheduling gets you really on the road faster. And that's what you want. You want to be on the road and actually hauling cargo. That's how you save money. That's how you make money too. So in closure, into this conversation, I spoke to you about flatbed trucking. I gave you the commonalities, the key facts, the pros and cons, the software used, and now the closure. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.